welcome back to the session on fundamentals of computers. In the last session we were discussing about different computer networks and also what are the different topologies we had. So we discussed about the multi-axis network, star network, ring network, completely connected networks and all of them, and then after that we went through the communication protocols. After that we discussed about network interface cards, the hardware that is required for connecting your internet to the systems, and then we started with the OSI model. What do you have in the OSI model? There are 7 layers in the OSI model that are part of your system architecture, and they are namely physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer and application layer. So these are the different layers that we have which are used to connect the network for us in the system. And then we have the concept of internetworking. When you have different groups of networks, when you try to connect all these networks as a whole big network, then it is called interconnection of the different networks of different network topologies. After that we will be starting now with the concept of internet. So what do you mean by internet? The internet is a network of computers that links many different types of computers all over the world. So in the previous slide we were discussing about internetwork, and internet is the best example of an internetwork. So in the internetwork you can consider internet as an example, and this internetwork is a network of computers that links many different types of computers all over the world. That is what we were seeing in the previous slide. And then network of networks sharing a common mechanisms for addressing, identifying computers and a common set of communication protocols. We all know what are the common set of communication protocols that we have, and also we were seeing about the common mechanism of addressing the computers. What is the common mechanism of addressing computers? We just discussed about that in brief. That is, we will be identifying the different computers by its ID or whatever the number that computer has, and if the computer ID matches with the data that is being sent, then the data is sent to that network. Otherwise that computer would ignore that data request that it gets. So the same way, the network of networks sharing a common mechanism for addressing or identifying whatever it is, the computers, and a common set of communication protocols. We already discussed what are the common set of communication protocols we have, and we will see them in later in depth in the later slides. Then evolved from the basic ideas of ARPANET, the first WAN that had only 4 sites in 1969 for interconnecting computers. Initially it all started by this organization, you can call this as an organization, ARPANET, which was the first wide area network that had only 4 sites in 1969. Initially when the internet had started, it was there were only 4 sites in 1969, and that is from where we all evolved into such a state where we are able to have like thousands and lakhs of sites available on the internet these days. And then initially used by one research organization and universities to share and exchange information. It was initially only used by the universities and the educational institutions for only transfer of data and sharing information among them, where they had the very static kind of HTML pages available. And then in the 1989 the US government lifted restrictions on the use of internet and allowed it to be for commercial purposes as well. At that point people started using the internet, and also there were so many commercial applications and commercial uses with the help of internet. And then internet has rapidly grown and continues to grow at a very rapid pace. Then it interconnects more than 30,000 networks, allowing more than 10 million computers and more than 50 million computer users in more than 150 countries to communicate with each other. When you see this is all a little all this data that you see is a little past data, and in the present world this number has already crossed 10 times of what the numbers are here. So we all are seeing how rapidly this networking or the internet is evolving, and how rapidly people are using the internet. So when you consider internet, as I told you, it is not just about Google, or it's not about a browser it's not about Chrome where you open the Chrome and search something. Whenever you are trying to connect to the internet and when you are trying to browse something on the internet, at that point there are so many connections that happen inside the internet that help you to get the data from the other from the network. So what is happening? Previously we were talking about connecting different computers side by side or in a room, and that is called network. So whenever you connect different computers in a room, then all of them are able to exchange data with the help of these cables. Whenever these computers are able to exchange with the help of these cables, which you can call as the internet cable or the network cable, then and you consider such you consider such a network as network. Okay, when you connect different computers in that topology, then it is called a network. Now whenever you want to connect some other place or the computers that are available in some other region to this region, then that is called internet. Okay, so generally, to be talking only in the basic terms, we all type www dot whatever it is. Suppose let's say www.google.com. so whenever you are typing in that, where does it first go, or how does it start fetching the data, or how does it start loading the page? That is all we'll see in the next slide. But internet is just a connection between different computers in different regions. If you are trying to access the Google page, or if you are trying to open the Google website, that is Google search engine, that is www.google.com, the data that is loading into our computer or the web page that is loading is also a computer that is somewhere in some other country. And how are we able to connect between these two countries, and how are we able to connect these computers with a wire? That is all a different story, but I will give you a short example about it. Now we are having a computer in our room, and we are able to connect to the internet, or we are able to connect to the internet, and then through the internet we are able to fetch some data, that is open a search engine, that is google.com. Let's assume. Now when you type www.google.com, then what happens is the internet, it helps us to go to that computer where we have the data related to google.com. So it's not something imaginary or something as a signal that we are getting over here, but it's all through the lines that are connected between this computer network and the computer network that is there in that country. Okay, fine. I will show you some examples and diagrams, then you will be able to understand these examples better. Okay. So before that, we have to see what are the basic services of the internet. So the electronic mail or email allows user to send a mail or a message to the other internet user in any part of the world in a near real time manner. So what does it mean? With the help of this email application, we are able to send a message from this place to some other place with the help of the internet. Okay. And then file transfer protocol, FTP, allows the user to move a file from one computer to another over the internet. With the help of this file transfer protocol, FTP, we are able to transfer files from one computer to other in the network. Okay. And then telnet allows users to log in to another computer somewhere on the internet. This telnet is an application that allows you to log into some other computer that is not in the present place, that is not in your surroundings. Okay. And then Usenet news allows group of users to exchange their views, ideas, information. So these are the basic services of the internet that had started in the early days. Then internet address. Before going into how the internet is connected and all, there are few terminologies that we have to understand. Only then we will be able to understand the complexities or how the functioning is happening. Okay. So what do you mean by internet address? Internet is a global network of computers, each connected to the internet must have a unique address. So whatever computer that is connected to the internet, that should have a unique address. Only then the other computers in the network will be able to identify it. Suppose if the computers are not having a unique address, then multiple computers, when they are connected in the network, might have the same address. then if some other computer is trying to send data to this computer, there will be a confusion and a clash between which computer has to accept that data. So always whenever you are trying to connect to computers in a network, there should always be unique addresses available for each and every computer. Just like the example we saw in the morning session, where we had different computers that are connected in the node. We had different computers that are connected, and then we were trying to send the data with the help of the ID. So in that network topology, we had different computers and each computer has its own ID. The same way the internet address also. There I was just mentioning you the IDs, but instead of IDs, that is, this is the term that we use, that is internet address, and you call it an IP. Okay, we'll see what an IP is. So instead of the IDs, just replace it with internet addresses, because we are going into the technicality slowly, and all the basic examples that I am giving you will be slowly converted into technical terms, and you will be able to have a very clear idea about it. And then, so internet address are in the form of NNN dot NNN dot NNN dot NNN. That means instead of NNN, we'll have values ranging from 0 to 255. This is just a format. You can just assume anything, AAA dot AAA, whatever it is, you can assume it, and each A is a number, and the set of these NNN or AAA, it will be a set of values ranging from 0 to 255. Okay, so internet address are in the form of this, where NNN must be a number from 0 to 255. This address is known as an IP address. IP stands for Internet Protocol Address. Okay. So now people understood what is IP address and why is it useful for us, because if we have a unique IP address for each and every computer that is connected in the network, when we are trying to send data from one computer to the other, with the help of IP address, the computers will be able to identify the other computer and they will be able to send data to that required computer. Okay. And then, so what is internet representation? So we were talking about internet, right? And I couldn't actually give you a very detailed or brief explanation about it. The reason is we have to go one after the other. So initially, just assume that internet is just a piece of medium which is connecting two computers that are on different sides. Let's assume this computer is in some other country, this computer is in some other country, and there is internet in between that is connecting us. This is how we generally understand, or if you don't have any idea about internet till now, then just assume there are two computers that are connected. In between you have the internet. Okay, internet is helping you to connect between these two computers. Then protocol stacks and packets. What do you mean by protocol stacks and packets? We'll see. There are different protocol layers, that are application protocol layer, transmission protocol, control protocol layer, internet protocol layer, hardware layer. So when you see these layers, you might have understood, or you might be connected to some other diagram that we have recently seen. What was that? In the OSI model, we were seeing some of those terms like application layer, physical layer, data link layer, transport layer, and all, right. So the same way here we have the layers. They are called the application protocols layer, then the transmission control protocol layer, internet protocol layer, and hardware layer. The layers that you have seen there previously and the layers here are both same, but they are just changing in their names. Whatever is the physical layer here is the hardware layer. Okay, like that. We'll see into the technicalities later, but as of now, just understand what application protocols layer is, transmission control protocol layer is, internet protocol layer, hardware layer. Okay, we'll see how these layers are connected to the OSI model that we have discussed previously. So what is application protocols layer? Application protocols layer, in that protocol specific to applications such as www, email, FTP, etc. are available. Okay, and then transmission control protocol layer has TCP, that is transmission control protocol, directs packets to a specific application on a computer using a port number. Okay, internet protocol layer, internet protocol directs packets to a specific computer using an IP address. Hardware layer, it converts the binary packet data to network signals and back. Example, Ethernet network card, modem for phone lines, etc. So we have read out all that is there in the block diagram or the table. So first let's try to understand what is application protocols layer. In application protocols layer, you have all the rules and regulations or how the application protocol layer has to behave. It is all mentioned, and what are the applications that you have? The applications are such that www, email, FTP, etc. Now you might wonder, like, why is www an application? Because when you type on the internet for something, for an URL, or when you try to type something as an internet address, then you will use www. That means it is trying to access that server. The www is World Wide Web. Okay, that means it has all the information and all the data related to all the sites that are connected in the internet. So that is why we always try to denote any website with the www format. Okay, now so this is also an application. Whenever you wanted to search for something on the internet with an address or the website address, then www is an application that is helping you to connect to the server or where the data is for that required website. Okay, and then email. We all know how important emails are and what are the applications of email. It helps you to send messages to anyone on the internet from any place to any other place in the world. Okay, and then FTP, we have seen, file transfer protocol. This is an application which helps you to transfer files or data from one computer to the other. So that is all about application protocols layer. In the applications protocol layer, what is happening? All the applications which are used by the user, they are all having some certain protocols or instruction rule sets. So these rule sets are all governed and controlled by the applications protocol layer. And then we have the transmission control protocol layer. The first layer is the application protocol layer. The reason is, we as the user are only accessing the application. Other than that, we don't know what is happening behind that application, and all the other things that are happening behind the application come under these other categories. So whatever the user is accessing, it's the application only. But what is behind the application? Behind the application, we have the application layer, which is having all the protocols related to the World Wide Web, email, FTP, etc., the different applications that we are using on the internet. So after that, below the application layer, we have the transmission control protocol layer. What does it do? The TCP, or the transmission control protocol, it directs packets to a specific application on a computer using a port number. So we all know what TCP is now. Generally, it is very famous when we say TCP IP protocols. That means TCP is transmission control protocol layer and IP is internet protocol layer. So this TCP directs packets to a specific application on a computer using a port number. So what is this transmission control protocol doing? It is sending data to another computer with the help of a port number. So first of all, let's divide it into different parts and again try to understand what this means. TCP means transmission control protocol. We all know that it directs packets to a specific application. Let's divide it till here. TCP directs packets to a specific application. What do you mean by packets? Packets are nothing but, now if I want to send some data from my computer to some other computer that is in some other city, okay, now that data that I am sending, or if I am trying to send some file, some PDF file that is like 10 MB, or let's assume that is 1 MB only, okay, I am trying to send a PDF file that is 1 MB file from my city to another city through the internet. Now how do I send it? I will use this application layer or the applications which which have the applications protocol layer governed by it, and under the application protocol layer we have the TCP, which is directing this data to the required computer and port number. So whenever I am trying to send that 1 MB file to other computer in the other city, it won't be sent as the direct 1 MB file over the network. It will be divided into small chunks, or you can chunks in the sense small sized files. It will be divided, that 1 MB file is divided into 10 KB files, and you have 10 KB files now with you, which are, or it will be divided into, it depends upon the protocol layer. And okay, it is divided in the protocol layer, and what happens is, suppose it's a 1 MB file, then it will be divided into 5 MB files each, or otherwise 10 MB files, 10 KB files, it all depends. And these 5 KB files, which are 20 files, or if it is a 10 KB file, there are 10 files, 10 different parts of that file are sent separately in that in the communication, in the internet. Okay, so what is happening in such a case? All the whole file is divided into different chunks or packets. These are known as packets. Okay, where when you are trying to divide that whole 1 MB file into different parts, each part is called a packet. Generally, whatever data we are sending, it won't be directly sent through the internet as a single file. Always it's divided into small packets, and these packets are transmitted to the destination, and at the destination all these packets again combine and become one complete file, and that complete file is available to the user on the other side. So whenever I am trying to send 1 MB file or a data file to the other person in the other country or other place, then I am using the application to send that data first of all, that is email or any other website where I am uploading the data, and that under that we have the application protocol layer, which is handling all the protocols that are related to that application. And then after that we have the transmission control protocol layer, which is directing these packets, whatever small chunks of data we have, which we have divided into 10 KB files of that 1 MB file, or whatever is that packet size, those packets are sent to that required computer, whatever is the identified computer, and to which port. We will see what ports are, because in the network there will be different ports and the computers would be connected on those ports. So it has to, this TCP has to direct the packets to that particular port for that particular computer. Okay, and then internet protocol layer. What protocol layer mean? IP directs packets to a specific computer using an IP address. So after the TCP directs the packets to a specific application on a computer, using that application using this other one specific port on that computer, the TCP directs it over there. Then the IP directs the packets to a specific computer using the IP address. So these two are doing almost the similar task. So that is why we have a specific layer in the OSI model, that is TCP IP layer, or you call that TCP IP protocol, because these two are doing the same thing almost, where TCP is directing packets to a specific application and the IP is also directing packets to a specific application, but the TCP is identifying the port number, and onto that port number it's sending the data to that required application on a computer. Okay, and whereas IP directs the packets to a specific computer by identifying the IP address of that computer. Okay, and then we have something called hardware layer. What is this hardware layer doing? It's converting binary packet data to network signals and back. That means whatever data we are sending, or whatever data that we want to send, that is 1 MB file, that is generally in the English form or whatever language that you type in as an input. Now when you are sending that data, when it's transmitted over the network, it should be converted into binary data, otherwise the computer won't be able to understand what data it is and how it has to react with it. So this hardware layer in our computer, it first helps the data to be converted into binary packet data to network signals, and then at that computer layer again, then it has its own hardware layer. That hardware layer will again convert it back to the user form, and it will send it to the user. Okay, So what are the hardware layers that we have? Ethernet network card, that, and then the modem for phone lines, etc. Okay. And then we have two computers that we were discussing about, and it has one internet connection in between, which is helping us to transfer data from this computer to the other computer. So just a minute, how do you understand okay, how do you send that data from this computer to the other computer? We are taking the help of internet. So initially, as we have discussed, application layer is the first layer under your application that you are using, and under that we have the TCP and the IP protocol layers, and under that we have the hardware layer. These are all like the rules that are being implemented in each and every layer, and it is going to that computer. So let's just assume one thing. The user A is at this point, okay? The user A is at this point, and the user B is at this point. Now the user A is sending some data, he is uploading some data, and the user B should be able to access that data, or he should be able to receive that data that user A is sending. Now at this point, when user A has uploaded the data to send it to user B, it first enters the application layer, and in the application layer it sets the rules what are required for transferring the data. It readies the data in such a way that all the data is divided into different parts, and how it should be transmitted in this network. And then from the application layer it goes to the TCP and the IP layers, where these protocols set the they identify the computer, and they try to send it to that specific computer with the IP address that this computer has. And then once everything is ready with all the small packets and the destination computer with the IP address, then it goes to the hardware. In the hardware, whatever data that we have divided into small packets, they are all converted into binary packets. That means all the ABCs or whatever language that you have written, that is converted into zeros and ones packets, and those zeros and ones packets are transmitted over the internet. Once it is transmitted over the internet, again in the other computer it starts in the reverse process. The hardware gets the data, whatever that is transmitted by the internet, in the form of zeros and ones packets. This hardware layer, it converts those zeros and ones packets into the readable form for the user, and it will start going up, where in the TCP IP protocols it will identify the network, and it will accept that packet, and it will go to the application layer. In the application layer, the user will be able to see the file, and will be able to access that file, okay? And then that is all the basic part of your internet connections. Then the next connection that you have to understand is, if you go into a little more deeper into the internet connections, this is your computer and this is the other computer that we have. So how are we connecting them? We are first connecting to a modem, and that modem is connected to a public telephone network. This public telephone network is again connected to a modem pool, where there are so many modems that are connected to this public telephone network, and this modem pool will identify which modem is bringing in which data and where it has to send that data. This modem pool is helping us with that, okay? After that we have the ISP port server. What do you mean by ISP? Internet service provider, okay? ISP is the internet service provider. Who are the ISPs here for us generally that we know? Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, Idea, these are all the internet service providers for a BSNL and all, okay? So this ISP port server is the server that is handling all the modem pool data that is available, and then it is again connected to a router. This router will transfer the data in the required direction where it has to go. Now all the routers are connected to one another. So if I have to send data from this computer to the other computer, it is first going to the modem, from the modem to the public telephone network. From the public telephone network, there will be a modem of pools for this public telephone network. From there, it is going to the ISP port server. and this ISP port server is redirecting to the router. So this router will identify to what other router it has to go in the internet service provider. Just try to understand this. So this router is then identifying the other router and it's sending the data to the other one, where we have one more router and these two routers communicate, and it's sending the data through this dedicated line to the router and through LAN. Just assume this is this is one more network, or you can, if it is only single network, then with the help of this internet the other computer is able to get it. Okay, and then if you look into the even more complex part of internet, and if you want to see the main working of that internet, the internet infrastructure, then we have the local internet service providers, and these local internet service providers are in turn connected to the regional internet service providers. The regional internet service providers are connected to the main like national service providers, and these national service providers are then connected to the main networks of the internet. Okay, so generally what we know, we only know the local service provider or the regional service provider at max, and from here it is being sent to the other network providers, and from there we are able to access all the data that is there on the internet, or whatever data is there in the this what do you call, in the servers or in the websites, website data related to those websites. Okay, so if you have to understand about internet, first thing that we discussed was, we were discussing about just a minute. Okay, we were discussing about these layers, right? We'll see about these layers in detail in the next, but first if you understand the application layer, then the presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. So just try to remember these names. If you get used to the names and the protocols, then in the later sections when we try to understand about the working of these layers, you will have some better idea. Okay, so we all know now what IP address is, how is it connected, and what are the computers and how do they get the IP. We have seen all that. After that we saw the application protocols layer, transmission control protocol layer, internet protocol layer and the hardware layer. Along with that, we have also seen how data is being sent from one computer to the other, and what are the different layers that we have and how are they all performing their operations. And then we try to look into even bigger picture of the internet, where how is one computer being connected to the other computer, and how is the data being sent from this computer to the other, and what are the devices or what are the mechanisms that are there in between the connections of the computer. Okay. After that we try to look into the different service providers we have and how are they all acting and what are their roles. So if you want me to tell a little more about it, these local service providers are the ones who is providing us the data or the internet services, and from these local service providers are in turn connected with the regional service providers. You can consider these regional service providers as the countries, and the local service providers as your as the networks that we are using. So these are your Airtel, Jio and all. The local internet service providers are these people, and these local internet service providers are then connected to the regional, that is Asia specific, Europe specific, Africa specific, like that. For each region there will be again their own internet service providers, and these regional internet service providers, they are then connected to the main networks, where they will have all the data that is related to these service providers. So whatever data we are trying to fetch under this local service provider, it then connects to the regional service provider. From the regional service provider, it will go to the main service provider, main network service provider, from where we will be able to access the data that we require. So this is how internet works. There are a little more complex diagrams that we'll see tomorrow, but try to just understand internet is just a connection of different computers through wires. Okay. Now you might get some doubt like, we are here, right, under this local internet service provider, we are there. From here, how are we able to access the data, or how are we able to connect through wires and with this regional service provider and with the main service providers? How are we able to do? We are able to connect them with the cables, and these cables are laid down in the oceans. You heard it right, these whatever data that we are getting connected to, or whatever internet we are using, these internets, this internet is connected between different countries with the help of large cables, and these cables are laid down under the ocean bed, where through which the data is being transmitted, and we are able to connect to the other computers. So whenever you are connected to an internet on your device, then definitely when you are trying to search something, or you want to fetch, you try to fetch something in any other website, that means you are connected with a wire to that particular server or the database that is available in some other place. So when you are trying to search something on the Google Google search engine, what happens is you are directly connected through the help of internet with the help of the wires, and that wire in turn is finally somewhere connected to the internet Google database. It is not like somewhere we have some other imaginary concepts and all, but that is how the reality is, and with the help of the wires itself we are all connected and we are using the internet. Okay. So try to understand this much for today. In the next class we will try to see the other remaining concepts of internet, and we can then revise the second unit once again. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you.